Hytale might not be dead, and I know that is a crazy statement after the past few days where everyone has heard Hytale is being canceled. Well, a lot of things have gone down in these past few days, and I'm going to break down absolutely everything that you need to know to get caught up with what's happening with Hytale right now, because there's a gigantic movement happening on social media called Save Hytale. One of the biggest posts is this one right here, being an open letter to Riot Games. This already has 500,000 views with 14,000 likes saying, "Dear Riot Games, we know Hytale's cancellation was a difficult decision made after careful consideration of scope, cost, and feasibility. Even so, the community is heartbroken to see the project end. The work of hundreds of developers for the past 10 years and likely hundreds of millions of dollars shouldn't vanish into a vault. Please consider open sourcing what you can. A playable legacy build, the legacy or new engine, the creator or modding tools, the music and lore. Sharing the project would preserve Hypixel Studios' achievements, earn Riot goodwill as a champion of game preservation, and require no ongoing support. Thank you from the Hytale community." There's more to this though, because this statement only talks about open sourcing. This, I think, kicked off a gigantic storm of what everyone is posting now. You might have seen something like this going around recently called #SaveHytale. Absolutely everyone is posting about it. There's more to Save Hytale than just open sourcing, because in my opinion, that's a very unlikely thing for Riot to do. They spent so much money acquiring the IP, building the legacy and new engine. They're not going to give it away for free. That would be a pretty unsmart business move. What they can do, however, is possibly sell it back to someone else. And that someone else is Simon Hypixel, the former CEO of Hytale and Hypixel Studios. Someone asked and said, "I think I speak for the entire Hytale community when I say that Hytale can't be cancelled. It was a game with infinite potential. Wouldn't there be any possibility that, together with Riot, you could partner with the former team to revive the legacy engine?" And Simon said, "I've not seen the game since 2019. It would be hard for me to know if it's worth looking into. It seems like the chapter is truly closed. I do have the money to run a 30-people team for a while, but they were over 150s. So not sure what kind of beast it has become to handle." Where someone replied, "I think there's a very real opportunity here to look into buying back the IP, if it's not that crazy expensive. Getting a couple of the OG developers back to get the real Hytale released. 30 people, just like in 2015 to 2018, the original version, the game it was meant to be." And Simon replied, "Yeah, well, it would be a massive undertaking. Not sure I want to take that responsibility, would need to open source some parts like tools, etc. And anything that would be spent on buying the IP would drain the funding of the game, so it's a bit difficult to deal with." And this is where it gets real serious. Tubbo, a gigantic Minecraft YouTuber, was live streaming and was also a big fan of Hytale when he saw this news. And he replied to Simon Hypixel saying, "Make a Kickstarter right now." Where Simon replied, "Tubbo, don't bully me into buying it. I'm living a good, peaceful life." And he replied, "All I'm saying is that this community is very passionate about this project." And this is the tweet that everyone is talking about right now and why we're all so riled up. Simon says, "I get it, 100%. Look, I'm even down to put $25 million by myself to finish Hytale. That's how much I believe in it. No Kickstarter, just raw passion, high pressure, and high risk taking. Reduce scope, legacy engine, PC only first, open source some parts, small team, cut unfinished features to accelerate towards beta, get players in ASAP to support development. I even have a dozen of Hytale legacy engine veterans working with me right now because he has his own game studio. That's what I would do. But I've not reached out. I'm just thinking about it now because of all the bullying. This would be a massive challenge and impact all aspects of my life. So I would probably need to consult with my family first." Did you hear that? He is willing to put down $25 million of his own to buy back Hytale, to finish Hytale, and to open Hytale to the public. What we all wanted from the beginning. Everyone has seen this tweet and everyone is reaching out to Simon and hoping that there's some sort of decision that can be made, talking with Riot through a buyback. There's even some notable names such as Devolver Digital, a massive indie publishing company, that said, eye emoji. But that's not all. We have TeamSpeak. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to help in buying this. I think they have around 2 cents to their name, and maybe if they take out a loan, they can pay for $3 of it, but their support is there and their visibility counts. They're even posting the hashtag save Hytale images. Ant Venom reached out saying, yeah, I'll say it, hashtag save Hytale. Hey, Riot Games, I think I get why you made the decision to pull the plug on Hytale, but if you want to pull the most pro gamer move, then own that a massive community of people were hyped for this game. Release a legacy engine beta, please. This is not the end of it though. We also have Quebec Corner, a popular Hytale YouTuber that you might know, saying, I have Mr. Beast's number if you'll want to chat equity split. If you didn't know, Mr. Beast is looking to open a game studio, so this might be right up his alley. I want to talk realism about this because everyone is obviously getting very hype, and Simon Hypixel would not be tweeting this if he's at least not considering the possibility of buying it back. But what does that actually mean? Riot Games has bought this game for millions of dollars. They have sunk hundreds of millions of dollars producing this game for it not to end up releasing. This is a massive undertaking from Riot Games, and I personally don't think that 20 or 30 million is going to be enough to buy back the game. We have their financial sheets, and we know that they spent $50 million in just a single year to help cover costs for development. That is a large undertaking. They probably want to make back some of the money, if not all of the money they spent losing by building this dead game. Another thing to think about is that there's 2 engines. There's the legacy engine, which was the pre-Hytale, the one we saw around 2018 to 2020, and then they started rebuilding the engine to allow for cross-platform compatibility and allow for a smoother gaming experience. Well, this new engine was completely developed under Riot Games. I highly doubt that a brand new engine built solely by Riot Games will be just let go. That is a powerful tool that they might be able to even reuse for future projects. It's the legacy engine we're talking about. It's the Hytale that we actually originally wanted. They might keep anything that happened 2019, 2020, all the way until today, 2025, in their vault and only release back the original assets of which they bought it from. But what does that actually mean for us then? How ready was the game when they bought it, which was around 2020? Well, Simon Hypixel did make a statement about this. During my time working on Hytale in 2016 to 2019, it was maybe the absolute maximum 2 years away from a PC release with the legacy engine in vision. I still have videos, screenshots, and old client builds to attest to all that. All developers from that time I've talked to say the same. So this legacy engine, the one that might be bought back, is technically only 2 years away from releasing, and that is with a fully finished, polished version. We saw in his previous statement, his goal would be to completely cut down on everything they initially had to make it a very scrappy, bare bones version of Hytale and just get the game out as fast as possible so that we can co-develop. We can find out the bugs, we can actually play the game while they work on updates and refining everything. This is a powerful movement, and personally I am very pessimistic about this because of Riot Games and because of how much money they sunk into it. Simon Hypixel, although he has a lot of money and he stated about it, I don't think that will cover the cost of buying back Hytale. My personal estimate is that it will be around maybe $100 million. So he would need some sort of co-publisher or investor to help cover the costs and then split the equity. If we can find an investor like that, and if Riot Games would be okay with that, then there's a chance for Hytale to really come back. I mean, the game is not dead. I have the Google Trends chart open for it, and the search results for Hytale are nearing their peak again. Remember, this game had 60 million views on their initial trailer, and it peaked with 100% interest. We are right now at 73% interest for Google Trends. This is not a game that people forgot about. People let it sink into the back of their heads because there weren't any updates, but everyone secretly wanted Hytale, and it's proving right now. This game has potential. This game was a milestone, and the community is one of a kind. Tell me one pre-release community that's able to raise $50,000 for charity for a game that did not have a release date and for a game that did not come out. Look, if you want to join the support, I have a Discord down in the description. I'll link to the Simon Hypixel tweets and some other Save Hytale posts if you want to join the action. I am obviously not done with Hytale, and if any future updates come out, I will let you know. There was also a big breakdown between ex-developers, current developers about the truth of why Hytale really failed. And I'm working tirelessly on compiling all of that information, making sure I get the truth to let you guys know what really happened and why Hytale had to shut down, because it's not as simple as it seems. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with any Hytale news or want to see what I end up doing post Hytale, click the subscribe button and I'll see you guys in the next video.